What's going on, smart people? We've all taken those tests on Facebook that will tell you exactly what type of potato chip you are. Sour cream and onion Dorito, by the way. But I've never taken a well-regarded personality test before. Today I thought it would be fun to do the Myers-Briggs personality type test until I found out that it cost $50 just to take. Personally, I don't feel like spending $50 to find out if I like going outside or working with other people. I think I'm self-aware enough to deduce that. Let me explain a little bit about what this $50 test would do, and then we're going to take the free version that gives us the exact same personality types. So this is supposed to split us up into 16 distinctive personality types, where you do a multiple choice test that'll lean you one way or the other. So it'll tell you if you're more extroverted or introverted, sensing or intuition, thinking or feeling, or judging or perceiving. And then all of those come together to tell you what your personality type is. There's 16 options. Now, if I had to guess, like I said, I think I'm self-aware enough. What is this doing? What's going on? Go away. I think I'm self-aware enough to know that I prefer being by myself. I'm going to get introverted for sure. Information, I think I'm going to be more sensing. I have pretty bad intuition as a whole, I would say. I'm definitely going to get thinking and judging or perceiving. So it says, in dealing with the outside world, what is going on? Go. In dealing with the outside world, do you prefer to get things decided, or do you prefer to stay open to new information and options? I think that's going to depend heavily on how the questions are phrased, because if people are being indecisive, I think I tend to take control and say, all right, let's do this. So I tend to be, I think that's more judging. Whereas if it's in a more scientific context, like if there's evidence that contradicts what I thought, I'm very open to changing my mind and going with the new supported evidence. So it really depends on what's emphasized. So I think I'm going to be getting I, S, T, and then either J or P. So that's what I'm thinking. So this is the Myers-Briggs personality test. We're going to go over to the knockoff version that's free, and we're going to take that instead. One thing that I should mention is there's a lot of discussion on the credibility of these tests as a whole, and the discussion talks about what you get out of the score in the first place. Like, fine, you found out what personality you have. What does that mean? A lot of people say, critics claim that there's no research indicating scores on the test predict significant life outcomes such as job performance or satisfaction. I don't really care about that in the first place. I'm more interested in how the people who watch my videos think, which is why after I take this test, and of course I'll leave a link in the description so that you can take it with me, I want you all to comment in the comment section what you got, and then maybe in a couple days I'll create a distribution to see, what type of personalities all you have. I have this suspicion that we're all going to think pretty alike. I think we're all going to be more or less the introverted, thinking type of person. But we'll go ahead and see. So make sure you take this test. I'll leave a link in the description. Let's go ahead and get started. Since there's 16 types, there's probably going to be a lot of questions. The test that we are going to be taking is this one right here. It's Jung Typology Test, or Jung, maybe I pronounced that wrong. This is the free test that is based on the Briggs-Myers personality type test. Let's go ahead and get started. As you can see here, it's the exact same types, so it's just the free version. I've talked enough. Let's do this. You are almost never late for your appointments. That is true. In fact, I'm always early. I get kind of anxiety if I'm pushing being on time. You like to be engaged in an active and fast-paced job. No. No, I like to take my time. You enjoy having a wide circle of acquaintances. No, my dad always said I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies, and it took me a while to figure out what that meant. Like in high school, you surround yourself by a bunch of friends because you're friends because of approximation. Been in physics for too long. Because of proximity, because everyone's just close and it's kind of convenient. And ever since high school, I've really closed up my circle of friends. You feel involved when watching TV soaps? No, I don't watch them. You were usually the first to react to a sudden event, the telephone ringing, or an unexpected question. The unexpected question kind of got me, so I'm going to say yes. One thing is, I heard when you take this test, try to stray away from the middle as best as you can. I don't know why, but that was one of the recommendations. Meaning, don't be neutral too much. Which is weird, because what if you're just a neutral person? I don't know. You feel that the world is founded on compassion. These are going to be a lot of questions that I just never really thought of before. You feel the world is founded on compassion? No, I don't think that. Strict observance of the established rules is likely to prevent attaining a good outcome. No, I disagree with that. I kind of disagree strongly with that. I think in general, or largely, rules are there because they've worked. Some things are stupid, but it's just what you've had, and it takes a lot of effort to change a rule. But I think they become rules in the first place because it seems like a better alternative to not having them. So, yeah, I'm gonna say no. Is it difficult to get you excited? No. I'm gonna say no, but not a hard no. When making a decision, you rely more on your feelings than on analysis of the situation. That is a hard no. Like I've said, I'm not a very intuitive person. That generally leads me the wrong direction, actually. When making a decision, I just read that one. You often think about humankind and its destiny. That's a weird... I don't agree with the word destiny. But I do think about humankind, so I'm going to give it a soft yes. I do think about the future. I don't like that they use the word destiny. You believe the best decision is one which can be easily changed. Man. No, I don't agree with that. Some things it's one or the other and there's no going back and you gotta live with it. I'm gonna give it a hard no. You often ponder the root cause of phenomena and things. Absolutely. I think that's why I'm going into such a fundamental field like nuclear theory, because it's such small scale. There's really not too much more fundamental. You prefer to act immediately rather than speculate about various options. No, I like my brainstorming, definitely. Even though I answered that one very quickly. In general, I like to explore options. I like to think. I like to do that because I haven't always been that way. Sometimes I will just... Maybe I should change that answer. I might change that to a soft no, because whenever I solve problems on a test or a quiz, I'll go with the way that I know will get me the answer, and a lot of times it'll be the long, drawn-out way, and there will be another way of going that I just didn't really explore because I found one way. But that's something I've been working on, so I'm going to change this to a soft no. Maybe it should be no, it's a soft no. Just because it's for test doesn't mean I do that for like research. It's pretty circumstantial. You trust reason rather than feelings, absolutely. You are inclined to rely more on improvisation than on prior planning. No, I like a lot of planning, I like structure, so I'm going to say no to that. You spend your leisure time actively socializing with a group of people, attending parties. No. You usually plan your actions in advance. Yes. Your actions are frequently influenced by your emotions. I think it depends. It depends because if something pretty jarring happens right now, pretty much your first reactions are emotional reactions. So that's kind of a poorly worded question in my opinion. It's like you have the emotional reaction and then you reflect on it and you're like, well, maybe that's not the right way to think about that. Your actions are frequently influenced by your emotions. I'm going to say a soft no. Influenced by my emotions. No, I'm probably a hard no, to be honest. I'm going to get contacted by Shane Dawson any moment now. They're like, what are you doing? You want to make a sociopath video? You are a person somewhat reserved and distant in communication. I would say so. Reserved and distant, but I think I'm getting better with that. So yes. You know how to put every minute of your time to good purpose. Absolutely. I think that's one of my better traits, is that I think I know how to be very efficient and use my time in the best way possible, just because I like to put myself in that position quite frequently. I just get bored if I have nothing to do. So I like to stack up on having to do as much as possible. At a certain point, that bubble will pop and you have too much for that amount of time, but it doesn't take too much self-reflection to be like, oh, all right, maybe that's too much. Maybe I'm biting off a little too much. You often contemplate the complexity of life. Sure. After prolonged socializing, you feel you need to get away and be alone. Yes. After, if it's a drawn out thing, like if it's going out with friends one day and then hanging out with family the next day, I think it's really important to just be able to take a breath. You often do jobs in a hurry? Absolutely not. You easily see the general principle behind specific occurrences. I see general, I click yes. You frequently and easily express your feelings and emotions. I don't really have, I was about to say I don't really have emotions. I'm not a very emotional person, so it's not that it's a matter of easily expressing them, it's just that the needle doesn't typically go too far in one direction that frequently, but I'm not fighting against, it's just, how I kind of am. You frequently and easily express your feelings and emotions. So I guess I'll do a soft no. That's probably what it's looking for with how I am. You find it difficult to speak loudly. No, I'm a very loud person. You get bored if you have to read theoretical books. This is the question specifically for me. They're like, well, if Andrew Dotson takes this test, he's going to want a theory book in here. Absolutely. You tend to sympathize with other people. No, not really. You value justice higher than mercy. Justice higher than mercy. Justice is... No, I think I value mercy more because justice is kind of... It's too dirty. It's too muddy. So I think mercy is pretty important. So this is... I'm going to say... soft no. You rapidly get involved in the social life of a new workplace. It's important... the social life of a new workplace. I like being friends with the people I spend a lot of time with. So I say yes. The more people you speak to, the better you feel. About what? It's not very in-depth, is it? The more people you speak to, the better you feel. Sometimes it depends. Like there's a clear limit on both of those. Sometimes that's just exhausting. And sometimes it can be really nice to get different perspectives. So it's nice to speak to a bunch of different people if I have one problem that doesn't have a clear angle at attacking it. So I'm going to give it a soft yes. You tend to rely on your experience rather than theoretical alternatives. You're probably expecting me to say no, the theoretical, just because I'm going into theory. But I'm going to say no for this. Wait. No, I'm going to say yes to this because the less things you have to invent to explain one thing, in my opinion, the better. So if there's a better way, typically the things that I've experienced have less variables that I have to introduce than me coming up with some wild new way that's just unnecessary. If something can explain the same thing with fewer parameters, it's probably a better way to go about it. So I'm going to say soft yes. As a rule, man, I might be doing too many of the soft ones. Whatever. As a rule, you proceed only when you have a clear and detailed plan. Yes. You easily empathize with the concerns of other people. Not really. Probably just a soft no. You prefer to read a book than go to a party. Yes. When with a group of people, you enjoy being directly involved and being at the center of attention. See, this is what's kind of interesting, is I'm a very introverted person, selectively. But if I'm already in that environment, I like to entertain, I think. I like to make people laugh. I like to make sure everyone's having a good time. So if I'm in a more social situation, I'm not in the corner. I like to mix, I guess you could say. So for this, I do like directly being involved, and so I'm gonna give it a hard yes. Actually, you are more inclined to experiment than to follow familiar approaches. Like I said before, with the rules thing, sometimes the familiar approach is there because it is just better. Oftentimes, people think like you have a different opinion, that no one's had that opinion before, but at this day and age, a lot of people have asked the same questions you've had before, almost verbatim. I mean, I remember going to like in like freshman physics having a projectile motion problem, be like, what are the odds I see this online? It's everywhere. Everyone's asked that question before, and everyone's tried it a different way that you thought of before. So sometimes it's there for a reason. Am I inclined? I'm thinking out loud. I know I'm rambling with a lot of these questions. But if they show you the correct way, that offers no insight on why the other ways don't work, which is where your experimenting comes in. So I'm going to still give it a little bit of a no. I like to explore a little bit because I want to make sure I know why things don't work. You are strongly touched by the stories about other people's troubles. No. Deadlines seem to you to be relative rather than of absolute importance. I don't think that's in general your thing to decide. I think if someone says, I want this done at this point, it's not up to you to say, all right, I'll get it to you the day after. That always kind of bothers me. So I think that they're really important. I think they're really important because if I didn't use my own deadlines, nothing would get done. Because I typically almost always bite off more than I can chew. You prefer to isolate yourself from outside noises. Yeah, I wish I had them with me, but whenever I'm studying, someone asked me if I listen to music whenever I study and do stuff. Complete opposite. I actually have little earplugs that I put in just so I hear absolutely nothing. So that's yes. For you, I sound like a sociopath in this. Oh God. For you, it's easier to gain knowledge through hands-on experience than for books or manuals. I like books. I want to go with the hard no. You think that almost everything can be analyzed. Yeah, of course. Not everything is analytic, though. Excuse me. For you, no surprises is better than surprises. I like surprises. Surprises are awesome. Bad ones aren't cool. I don't like bad surprises. You take pleasure in putting things in order. Sure. I mean, I'm not. So many people have have fake OCD where it's just, oh my God, that pencil it's really bothering my OCD. It's like, no, you're not. You want attention. It doesn't bother you as much as you say it does. You feel at ease in a crowd. I'm gonna give a little bit of a no. You have good control over. I don't like that it says uncertain. I think the answer should be neutral, like neither here nor there. No, I'm not anxious. This is hard. This is kind of hard. You have a good control over your desires and temptations. Yes. You easily understand new theoretical principles. No. No. Again, it's probably something you might have expected otherwise, but I think I need to read things quite a few times in order for it to really make sense. However, it's still easier for me to understand theoretical principles over experimental. So maybe I should say yes, because it's if I treat it relative rather than absolute. Absolute, everything is difficult for me, but relative to experimental stuff, theoretical comes easier. You usually place yourself nearer to the side than the center of the room. I'm on the side now, but that's because the bed is in the center. But I see what it's saying. It's an attention thing. Do you want to be mixed in with everybody? So I would say if I'm in that situation already, I'd like to be towards the center. When solving a problem, you would rather follow a familiar approach than seek a new one. That was already a question. Sort of, yeah. Like I said, sort of yes, because I'm not going to purposefully get things wrong. So I'm going to give it a sort of yes. A thirst for adventure is something close to your heart. No. There's those people who their life's passion is to be able to travel one day and explore the world. I think it'd be kind of cool, but that's not like an intrinsic part of me. When considering a situation, you pay more attention to the current situation and less to a possible sequence of events. Okay, so it sounds like a consequences type of thing. No, I like to think about what happens next. So no. No. When solving a problem, you consider the rational approach to be best. Absolutely. You find it difficult to talk about your feelings. Again, this is a bad idea. I would say yeah, just because it's just something I haven't really practiced. So it's hard. It's always harder to articulate something that you don't practice, right? So I spend a lot of time talking about physics, so it's easy for me to get in front of a crowd and talk about things. I have a bucket full of analogies so that other people can hold on to it if their experience is not as much as is required for what I want to talk about, so that everyone can get something out of the conversation. That kind of thing. Less practice of, so it's not as easy. Your decisions are based more on the feeling of a moment rather than on thorough planning. No. A lot of these questions, I'm kind of like, these are all basically the same question. It's almost like, what did that give more of that the other time it asked me if I like planning didn't get out of that. You prefer your leisure time alone or relaxing in a tranquil atmosphere? Yes. Hard yes. But more so I like it. I like the tranquil atmosphere more than the being alone. Because like I said, I have like the group of friends. I don't like a lot of people. You feel comfortable sticking to conventional ways? Sure. You're easily affected by strong emotions? No. You're always looking for opportunities? Yeah. As a rule, current preoccupations worry you more than future plans. Current preoccupations worry you more than future. I would say not so much. I think everything I do is for the future. So I think that's always in the back of my mind. Well, now I'm pretty stressed over the qualifying exam, but that's still in the future technically, right? So no. It is easy for you to communicate in social situations. I think so. You rarely deviate from your habits, and the reason for that, I think I know how to speak with people, and I'm pretty approachable. You rarely deviate from your habits. I would say so. Kelly's done a good job at making me try new things, which is pretty cool. You willingly involve yourself in matters which engage your sympathies? No. You easily perceive various ways in which events could develop? Yeah, I like to think of, if this happens, what is everything that could happen? So I say yes. Okay, so before I click on score it, let's go ahead and take one last look at the prediction. So I think I'm either going to be ISTJ or ISTP. So it's introverted, sensing, thinking, and either judging or perceiving. I don't think I'm super hard on either of those. Okay. INTJ. Wait, so the N is for intuitive. So it's S N. Okay, that's funny. I didn't even notice that. So it's saying that I am more intuitive. So I'm introverted, intuitive, thinking, and judging. 59%. So that actually wasn't too hard on that side. Thinking was kind of heavily emphasized, but not as much as I would have thought. Intuitive. I'm 38% intuitive. Sorry, this is kind of confusing. I have a moderate preference. Oh, this is more. All right, so I have a slight preference of introversion over extroversion. And I think that's because when I'm in those social situations, I do fine, but I still prefer being by myself. You have moderate preference over intuition and sensing. I have distinct preference over... Oh, so I thought 50% was like there was no difference. Okay, I see. So that is a huge thing between thinking and judging. So I have a distinct preference over thinking. So INTJ, let's take this over here because the Myers-Briggs will probably give a more in-depth. INTJ, vision-oriented, quietly innovative, insightful, conceptual, logical, seeks understanding, critical, decisive, independent, determined, pursues competence and improvement. Sounds, I mean, I'm sure I could read any of these in the I's and it would probably kind of sound like me. Like, go over to I, whatever this is. Feeling, deep felt valuing, quietly caring. All right, maybe not so much. Okay, so I am INTJ. Everyone, take this test for yourself. The link is in the description. Let me know what you got, and in a couple days, I will post maybe a histogram. I'll make a video where I show you guys how the distribution of all of our personality types looks. I think that would be pretty interesting. See how smart people think. So be sure to comment that in the comment section, and I will see you guys there.